So as we're talking about smart contract auditing, my next question to Deepika is, why cybersecurity, is critical for the entire world. You have been working closely with the Mumbai police. What do you tell them, what to look forward and why it is critical as far as your training is concerned?
Certainly. So the first part is in any physical or tangible attack, we are able to see who the attacker is. We are able to see the attack payload, the attack vector as well. However, here everything is so mystical and in a black box.
Right.
It becomes very difficult to attribute. The second part is that in cybercrime, there are no geographical boundaries and there is no kind of a demographic which is safe. To be very honest, the only okay advantage, I'm not even saying a good advantage, I'm saying the okay advantage of cyber is it's a great equalizer. Right from kids to adolescents, even senior citizens, and even educated people like you and me, once the newer adoption of technologies is happening, and to be very honest, post 2016-17, the pace has been very rapid.
Perfect.
The technologies have evolved. As Bharat sir said, the technologies are very robust indeed. However, most of these crimes, in fact, if I could attribute a number, at least more than 70% of crimes are happening due to a concept known as social engineering, where the weakest link here in the entire cybersecurity gamut is the human element attached to it.
Perfect.
Because of social engineering, people are collecting a lot more data points, and there is where majority of the information leaks are occurring. In fact, what I have seen the modus operandi 4 to 5 years ago is still being repeated in the same form or the other. And I am sometimes disappointed that even though we are hearing and listening different types of crimes on a daily basis, it's not that the papers are not publishing it or shows like yourselves are not covering it. However, still the stance is such, and also the populace imbibing the same is important.
Perfect.
If we take the concept in India, UPI is one of the fantastic technologies, and we have got such features which the other part of the world is just dreaming about. For example, the automatic SIM authentication of only implementing UPI in the SIM card that already is there in the phone. It is very important to see on the security aspect, and other apps in the world are just dreaming about the same.
Exactly.
But despite that, there are a lot of elements where there is some money debiting or there is some defraudment that is happening. The second part is in terms of data or data get-in points that are coming towards right now. People are sharing, rather oversharing a lot of data information, which is resulting into far more attacks. Because let's say we talk about a particular employee working at XYZ bank, he keeps on sharing about his personal life, and therefore thefts like identity, thefts like impersonation become very easy. So this is something that we need to take together as a society, and one needs to be more responsible about one's security and not depend that if something happens, the police or the other law enforcement will take care. So I think once a person is you can say a guardian of its own security and data, I think half of the problems, more than half of the problems rather, will be solved.
So you very quickly, Bharat sir, you want to highlight on this aspect?
I just wanted to add what Deepika said. So two parts, she mixed privacy and cybersecurity both together. But both are, in terms of a kind of input for committing cybercrime. So that's a good example. But if we have to compare the cybersecurity, why it is critical for the world, let me give a very simple analogy of the global economy. If something goes wrong in New York Stock Exchange or London Metal Exchange, the impact of that coming all across the world as far as economy is concerned. Cybersecurity, the next to that economy, which impact the world completely. Because, something goes wrong in one part of the world due to cyber attack can literally impact on your economy. It literally can impact on your day-to-day life. Because, the best example, colonial pipeline. I think how it has impacted to rest of the world, because all of a sudden the prices gone to much higher. But apart from the cybercrime, which is 70% of cybercrime today worldwide are mainly targeting to financial gain, the 30% are more dangerous than the 70%, because in the 70%, you are losing money. And I have investigated every big breach of the banking sector for last 1 decade. What we found that we found that who are the people behind, how they did it, but we couldn't go and check where they are physically present, because there's a borderless world. But if we go beyond this financial sector, it is a larger risk for the nation's sovereign security, because you are fighting a battle with unknown enemies and we don't know where they are. And, in India, luckily at we have not seen the destruction created by cyber attack, but there are signals. There are signals like, look what happened at SDLC a few weeks ago in Ladakh. Look at what happened in the Mumbai power outage. Look at what happened at the power plant. Look at what happened to Air India. And there are so many things. I mean, so many attacks in last 2 years. I can count it. That if you connect the dots, there is something a larger design, which can be a sabotage, which can be espionage, which can be a state-sponsored attack that can ruin the country. I will take 30 seconds more to tell. Look at what is happening at the Ukraine and Russia. The war, what our news channels are showing is physical, but there is a much bigger war being fought between both the countries in the cyberspace. They
Right.
have
Sure.
made enough destruction to each country. So that's where the cybersecurity is very, very critical for the world.
So, Pritam, my next question to you is, what role does blockchain play in the conceptualization and a design of cybersecurity? If you can just touch base on this aspect.
Sure. So currently, like everything is going digital, right? And we are having so much data, right? Like after coming to geo and like in whole world, there is so much data is every enterprise is having, right? So what are the current issues these enterprise or any products are facing, right? And how blockchain can help them, right? So in this current world or any current product, the data is siloed, right? Like and you can say the cybersecurity expert in any company or like anyone don't having a single view access of the data, right? Like they don't have a single access of data so that they can take the decisions what's going wrong with their data, right? So in this case, the blockchain can help, right? So in the blockchain, the data is not siloed. Like every participant having their own having their own data, and they can make the decisions, right? And in this data in the blockchain, like we are having the great transparency of the data, like what is going on, and like everything is very visible. But in Web2, you can say like except blockchain, there is less transparency of the data, right? And in blockchain, we can say in the private blockchain, like the data is encrypted, right? And it is stored on like every ledger on everything, right? So it cannot be hacked easily. And we are having the access controls of the data, like which participants should be doing which transactions and everything like that, right? So just assume like in India, in banking, there are so many frauds are going on and like so much things are happening, right? But if this kind of use case we are going to build on the blockchain, we can easily safeguard these use cases.
Perfect.
Like we yeah.
All right, Prasanna, your quick view on that.
Yeah, I think Pritam rightly pointed out how blockchain can be useful. If you go back and understand the fundamentals of blockchain, typically some of the concepts like cryptography or consensus mechanism, the way we had designed that particular blockchain protocol or blockchain product, and it works on a hashing, right? So how do we store the data in a current mechanism, so-called oracles and SQL server? It can be hacked and can be tampered. But the way we store the data in blockchain, it is always in a block. And if you have to really hack the data of last 1 year, you have to hack almost all the nodes and almost all the blocks out there, which is technically is impossible. So any use case you build it on a blockchain has this additional feature that data cannot be tampered, right? So although use case to use case basis, whether it is a network security or whether it is a multi-party data sharing, so those kind of a use case typically can come on blockchain, where it creates a transparent world for all the actors who are a part of that chain. Yeah.
So my next question to you, Deepika, is what do you think India should do using this blockchain? Or let me put this in other way. You have worked with the state government, and what's your advice to the central government? What they should think as far as using blockchain technology in context with the cybersecurity space.
In fact, even before they start applying it or implementing it, I think they should first clear all the myths and the doubts that are associated with the top round, especially in the policy and decision-making lobby that is there. To be very honest, right now, there is still a lot of demarcation that is still left.
Fantastic.
That is to be done between cryptocurrency,
Well
between blockchain as a technology. And to be very honest, the particular concepts of blockchain which are still misunderstood.
Right.
That is something that should be the step zero even before they start implementing.
So you're saying that awareness, the government should be aware, or the awareness drive should be
not
taken
only
up?
awareness but breaking a lot of myths.
All right.
To be
Okay.
very honest,
Perfect.
today
Perfect.
if you ask any minister or any politician, these are the people who are at the helm of decisions.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
If you ask them what is blockchain, the next pack come reply, no, you mean Bitcoin, not blockchain.
Oh, fantastic. That's actually an interesting statement coming from a person who was closely
Yeah.
working with the government and everything. What's Prasanna? What's your
I
view on
think
that?
that's what I do agree with Deepika. Internet is a foundational technology, and it has changes the foundation of the way we talk, the way we communicate, the way we do transactions, transportation. Everything today is on internet, right?
Right. Perfect.
Similarly, blockchain is also another foundational technology, and Bitcoin crypto is one of those minuscule use case. The way we see use case on internet like Paytms or any of those. Similarly, these are some of the use case. We need to look at a larger value of a Bitcoin, larger value of a blockchain, which takes internet inabilities like trust, security to the greater level. But although there is a maturity cycle for blockchain also, but it makes sense that awareness, what are the use cases,
Right.
if any fraud does happen, how, as Bharat sir rightly said, right, it's all about there, right, how do you connect those dots among all those parties? So blockchain
Exactly.
brings that authority and bring that kind of ecosystem where you can connect all the dots from start to end.
So
And secondly,
blockchain.
because we have such vast populace of over a 1.45 billion plus people, what we have seen right now is the conceptualization across the country is still to happen, especially in the rural and the tier 2 areas. Now coming to the second factor of the implementation, we need to identify key areas of taking the applications to the smart city projects,
Right.
to the cyber lab projects, to the policing projects that are still in the inception stage right now in the country, and also in the record keeping. Right now in India, a lot of schemes are associated with record keeping, documents, etc., in terms of benefiting the common man. However, right now we have seen that because of a lot of lacunae in the record keeping process, there is certain impersonations happening, there is a lot of cheating, frauds, etc. happening. This is something that will go away once land records or maybe even person
Perfect.
records or the
Sure.
person profile history or the DigiLocker system is put onto the blockchain process, which is not only encrypted successfully, but also available whenever needed.
Fantastic.
And second is the multi-level access and checkpoints that ensures that the data doesn't fall in the hands of the wrong people,
Great.
but also in case it does, there is certain checks and balances already in place to make sure that nothing bad happens or nothing untoward.
So Bharat sir, my next question to you is, as Deepika was highlighting about record keeping and a broader concern as far as cheatings and other frauds are happening in this space. So what are the best practices for implementing cybersecurity in blockchain projects then? If you can just highlight that.
Well, so, way back 2010-11, when I implemented first real-time fraud monitoring system for NPCI, for entire ecosystem. So, it was purely static rule that, 1:3, 3:1, and, something like that. These have gone. I mean, today the way crimes are happening, be it, in payment system or be it in online, so many things where you really do not know how to connect the dot because there is no unique identifier by which you can connect.
Exactly.
Let me give one example. I investigated one case where money shifted from one account and moved into 15 different accounts just in 17 minutes. Can you imagine that the gang was working so fast? Of course, thanks to UPI, they were transferring money so fast that 17 different account in just 50 minutes. On the 18th account, the money were withdrawn from labor. Now, how are you going to make sure that at the same speed you can identify where the crime? Because crime are inevitable. It is going to happen. All we are talking about how fast you can detect and how fast the moment you detect, how fast you can respond. Right. Blockchain will definitely going to help first to identify the such crime in real time, and the moment it identify because of the integrated way of its technology itself, today let's say for my card is cloned. What I need to call to my bank and hey, can you please block my card or something as lost somewhere. All this will get away because the blockchain chain, block-based technology The moment you put, based on the kind of what you call adaptive learning, the way transaction is happening, based on the adaptive learning, based on the risk score, and based on the circumstances, the system may be capable on its own to detect there is something fishy going on, and if the moment they find something fishy is gone, the system will be capable to stop the transaction then and then itself.
So Pritam, your quick thoughts on what Bharat sir was highlighting, as Deepika has already mentioned that there is a lack of awareness. If you can just touch base upon these facts as well.
Sure. Like, what should be the best practices for cybersecurity for any blockchain project, right? So before that, I want to add one point to that. Like, what should be the Indian blockchain use cases, right? So, like, there are some use cases I'm very interested in. The first is in the telecom industry, right? Like, currently I'm getting so many spam messages. If we can build a blockchain use case on, like, what message should be getting from Domino's or from like Flipkart or anything, right? So in that use case, Indian government is already working on it. The second is can be a single health ID, so that whenever I'm visiting any doctor to any city or state, like, I can track my all data. Third, I'm very, very concerned about it, like currently what I'm eating, right? What foods I'm eating, what eggs I'm eating, right? So, like, if there can be an organic ledger on blockchain, I can scan and I can trace, like, from where my product is coming on, right? So that is a very interesting use case, and it is, I think, in future we are also focusing on what should be about our nature and everything, right? Like, what we are eating, like, is it what methods they are doing for any product, right? So I think these use cases are very interesting for Indian blockchain use cases. And what cybersecurity things we should be taking in the blockchain use cases. So currently, like, we are helping many products in cybersecurity, right? So they are coming to us after development of the project, right? But in the cybersecurity, it should be from the first stage, right? Any product you are building, you should be working with any cybersecurity expert while you are building your architecture or your code, right? So they should take help in the first stage. And we have seen many use cases, right, in blockchain cybersecurity. Like, maybe there are many smart contract hacks are going on, right? But there are so many social engineering hacks also, right? In one Indian product, like EasyFi hack, that was around $60 million hack, right? So we should know, okay, what should be the best practices for keeping our private keys safe, how I'm using my MetaMask, everything, right?
Sure.
So there are many ways we can that we should follow.